whatever you do, though, when you tweet productively or text productively. And if you are a mother, a working mum, you are much more likely to be productive in doing that than just about anything else, apparently. And it's not me talking, it's research. This was a study that was done by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis in the United States. And researchers there found out, this is why they did it, over the course of a 30-year career, both female and male economists, incidentally, who had children, in the male case 2 children or more, outperformed their childless colleagues. Joining me now is the CEO of the Australian Women Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Yolanda Vega. Thank you very much for joining us, Yolanda.
My pleasure, Wally. How are you?
I feel rude asking this, but I feel like I need to in the interest of disclosure. Do you have a horse in this race?
I can't give away secrets.
So we're just going to have to, factor that non-disclosure into this entire conversation. Do you have any thoughts on this? Have you seen a similar effect?
Oh, look, it's interesting when you look at some of this research, and of course, as you know better than most people, there's research on absolutely every topic.
Yep.
The point that some of your texts have that have come through that say that, productive is not everything, well, it actually is, unfortunately, because being productive is about producing goods or providing a service, and everybody needs a service from somebody else, regardless whether you're in a rich country or in a developing economy. So first we need to understand that we do need to be productive. I think it's interesting, though, from a human perspective, that this report talks about, that men and women that have 2 children plus. It doesn't really surprise me, and I think we've always known that, because the human spirit is going to do whatever it takes in order to ensure that your children and your nest is kept well. So if you have to be more productive, then you're going to do that irrelevant of the consequences.
I thought you were going to say the human spirit means that you're desperate to get away from the kids, and that's what makes you more productive. I'm glad you didn't quite go there. Although people on Facebook have said that.
That's why they stay at work and become more productive.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that. But also, as you get kids...
I heard you do that quite regularly.
Oh, God. Hang on. If you're not disclosing, I'm not disclosing. Let's just leave it at that. No, but there is this theory that once you have kids, your time becomes so much more constrained that you do become more efficient in the time that you do use. Would that have anything to do with this, do you think?
I think it's absolutely, you've hit it on the spot, because when you're having to be in 3 places at once, you're not going to waste any time. And time management is of the utmost importance when you have to drop off 2 kids in the morning in 2 different directions and be at work at a certain time and make sure that your clients or your boss is happy with your performance. You're going to make sure that you go to bed the night before, that all the lunch boxes are packed, et cetera. So time management and being far more concise and discriminating against what you don't need to do is something that you learn from, the very early experiences of when the babies are growing up.
Yeah.
But
the scarcity of time that you have in that sort of environment puts that pressure on you. I should point out, and this is a note of caution with regards to this study, it's looking at a very narrow group of people. These are women in pretty privileged circumstances. They're very well paid, for example. They can probably get time away from their kids and pay for childcare and whatever it is fairly easily. Do you think you could extrapolate this to other spheres of the workplace? Yeah,
I don't think there's that much difference between a woman who's an economist and has the ability to pay a nanny compared to a woman that doesn't have a nanny and doesn't have the same pay packet at the end of each week, because at the end of the day, we only have 24 hours a day, so it doesn't really matter what the pay packet is. Their life going to be more comfortable because they don't have to rush or they have the ability? Absolutely. But really, we've only got so many hours in the day, and children require X amount of time with their parents. So it's interesting that they talk about the women, but I think that the fact that men are doing exactly the same thing shows that we are, as a society, becoming more family focused. And I know that in the US, as in Australia, it's not the great majority, but we are seeing changes where the fathers are becoming far more involved in the traditional roles that women have always had, which is, caring, cooking, cleaning, and then going to work. So I think the partnership between husband and wife is becoming more obvious, especially in reports such as this, because it's not only women that are becoming more productive, it's also men.
Yeah, well, the men as well, yes, that's certainly part of it. Yolanda, thank you very much for lending us your expertise and your reflections. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yolanda Vega, CEO of the Australian Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry.